Hey everybody, this is Jace with RMUS, and I'm here with
Kaden,
and we're with the product support and training team at RMUS. But what we wanted to do in this video is give you kind of an introductory look at the new M30. This is one of the latest aircraft released from DJI, at least in the enterprise space. So again, we just wanted to give you a quick look at it, just overall specs-wise from the aircraft itself. We're looking at about a quoted 41-minute flight time and a max hover time of about 36 minutes. Again, that's going to vary depending on your operating scenario, your environment, how are you operating it, your altitude, a lot of variables. But the short answer is a respectable flight time. It's what you'd come to expect from modern and current DJI aircraft. It's a dual battery system. Additionally, we've got obstacle avoidance sensors, of course, on every axis, up, down, left, right, forward, back. And also an IP55 weather resistance rating. So again, kind of taking it the next step up there, and we'll get to the payload in just a minute, but fixed payloads in the front. There's two options for this aircraft, the M30T and the standard M30, the difference being the T, which is the thermal payload option, which is what we have here. Right. So tell us more about kind of the aircraft itself, Kaden. Give us a little bit of more detail here.
Yeah, well, let's start with the portability. Starting with the arms. They've got a really cool self-locking feature. You just swing them out and it pops right in. No need to tighten any bolts or any sleeves like the 300s.
And no quarter turns, nothing like that. And the idea for that is quick deployment.
Quick deployment.
Right.
They say it can be up in a minute, 60 seconds.
Right, and I believe it. I mean, after us spending some time with it, that's absolutely 100% within the realm of possibility, if not a little bit quicker. So the other thing you'll notice about this aircraft is no landing gear.
Right, there are no landing gear. And that helps with the portability and the quick deploy ability of this aircraft. Right. And as well as with the portability, it can fit inside of a backpack. It's pretty impressive.
Right. I mean, the way this folds, it's a little more simple than an M300.
Yeah.
It folds up it folds up tighter. Overall, this aircraft is a little bit smaller than an M300. So I kind of think of it as in between the Mavic and the M300 space. That's a pretty good idea when you get into the size of it. But yeah, portability, we've seen this, it can fit into backpacks, that kind of thing. It's extremely portable. Again, we look at this as really very much useful for the public safety space. The search and rescues, the public safety, again, with that portability, we can trek that into a mountain or wherever. We can trek it anywhere we need to be and be able to be up and going very easily. Not as many logistics. Not locking, the landing gear, the lack of all that kind of stuff, it just makes this really easy and portable. Yeah,
something else to add with the portability, there's no gimbal cover like the Mavics. There's no lock.
It actually self-locks. It's kind of an electronic lock.
Vertical.
Right. So again, adding to that quick deployment. And speaking of the payload, again, we have there's two options available. Something that's a little different for some people to get used to is that this is a fixed payload. Again, kind of think of it more like Mavic style. Yep. You get what comes on the aircraft, but very respectable payloads. So for the RGB sensors we're looking at on this, we have two RGB sensors, one wide, one zoom. For the zoom, we're looking at 5x to a 16x optical zoom and up to a 200x digital zoom. That's also a 48 megapixel sensor, and it will do 4K video up to 30 frames a second, and of course a lot of varying frame rates and resolutions for the video.
Crazy.
And again, it's a 1/2-inch sensor. A little bit larger a sensor, you're going to get very good quality imagery off of this sensor. Going on to the wide sensor, also a 1/2-inch sensor, that is a 12 megapixel sensor. And then jumping into the thermal, at 640 by 512 resolution thermal. They've also introduced some additional processing things. It's their super resolution thermal. We look forward to spending a little bit more time on that and seeing the kind of nuances of what that actually entails. But a very impressive thermal sensor. Again, a fixed payload that, it is as it comes, but I really think of it as very much a little brother to the H20T. It's very, very respectable, and it also has the laser rangefinder.
It does.
And a lot of those capabilities. So in addition to that, that's as it comes, we also have third-party payload capability. So tell us a little bit about what we have on here right now.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about this third-party payload. It's a speaker spotlight combo. That's what it's called. It's got a speaker and a spotlight. It's pretty neat. With the speaker, we put it up at about 400 foot elevation and about what would we say, 800 or 900
it was
foot?
somewhere between 800 and 1,000 foot, just straight linear distance.
Yeah, so we're talking like way over there. We were playing pre-recorded recordings that we inputted onto the device, and we could hear it pretty much clear as day.
So if you have experience with speaker payloads, you've noticed this before, but with this payload, we haven't had the issue of, I mean, again, we were a long distance away, hearing it perfectly clearly, very loud.
Yes.
You know, and very crisp, clean audio. So some of the other things, I mean, that's pre-recordings. Obviously, you can pre-record things and load those there, but also text-to-speech, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's just as it sounds. You type in your message on the controller and it sends it to the ship, and the speaker speaks it out. And it has many different dialects and languages that you can choose from.
Right, different voices, different dialects, that kind of stuff, right? But then let's talk about the Spotlight. So we really have been a big fan of the Spotlight. Let's talk a little bit about that functionality.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's gimbalized. The Spotlight is gimbalized. And it can be a standalone gimbal where it moves by itself and the camera moves by itself.
So you can control it independently.
Independently, thank you. Or they work in tandem. You can lock them together, and as the gimbal moves, the Spotlight also moves.
Yeah, so we love that functionality. I mean, having to independently control can sometimes get a little messy. That ability to lock the payloads together has really been fantastic. And again, this is just one option of a third-party payload option that we've seen so far. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what other third parties are capable of, but as of right now, this is what we have. We're really pushing that with kind of this is our law enforcement package that we're pushing for this, and again, it's very functional, very usable, and very impressive so far. So it's nice to have some of that capability basically right out of the gate, especially with such a new product.
Yeah.
So again, you know, we look forward to seeing what other third-party manufacturers can come up with for this. So that kind of wraps up our overall look at the aircraft. Again, we're extremely impressed with this platform. Very much a public safety platform. Again, extremely portable. That weather resistance, a little more weight than a Mavic, so you're going to have a little bit better wind resistance, and a top speed of 51 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy fast. So again, any information, anything else you need to get from RMUS, of course, contact the team at RMUS. We can get you quotes, we can give you additional info, and of course, stay tuned on our channel. We're going to have a lot more content with the M30, the M30T, coming at you in the not too distant future.